Game feel can be what pushes your game from being a mediocre platformer to an intense struggle for level completion. It is the elements of your game that are designed to manipulate the emotions of your player. There's many ways to improve your game feel. The most common methods involve visual and sound effects. However, in-game actions and player input can also provide game feel. The crispness of Hollow Knight's player character movement adds a valuable level of game feel, as the simple act of navigating around tight platforms and jumping sequences gives the player great satisfaction due to the polish of the controller input. So that's one avenue to go down if your game will involve real-time character controls. Making sure you work your arse off to getting the controls to a state where players are under the impression that they're fully in control of the gaming experience, and the only thing holding them back is their own ability. That will go a long way in improving your overall game feel. Environmental design is another area that I like to play about with. I'm not talking about visuals here, but I mean choosing the contents of your environment and their behaviours. Having objects that the player can push around or destroy. Basically, allowing players to have the freedom to alter the environment at their own pleasure really gives great satisfaction. I mean, think of the disappointment when you take a swing at a crate sitting in the corner of the room to find that you can't actually hit it. I know for me, it's frustrated me to no end in the past. Likewise, there's been times in the past where I finished a gameplay session, but the game was so addicting that I couldn't actually dare turn it off. So instead, I'd spend ages running around a town or random levels and just interacting with the environment. It's a great way to just add another level of game feel to your game. One way that it worked for me in the past was using hinge joints that come with the Unity engine and connecting vines to trees so that my players could run in and push them around. Like that, eh? Fuck's sake. It's very low effort, but it's just another way to take advantage of Unity's pre-built features and add another level of player interaction. If you want to use visuals and sounds to improve your game feel, it's important to look at the game that you're building. Easy and open-ended options for most games involve camera movement, camera shake, and impactful bass-heavy sound effects. If you're building a shooter, blood splatters are the way to go. Check Ape out. The splatter effects allow the player to see their carnage in real time, while also showing history if they decide to navigate back through the level, remembering the bloody battles they engaged in previously. If your game is a city builder, this isn't really the way to go, of course, but you may want to explore using particle effects upon placing buildings and thumping sound effects to convey the impact of placing buildings to users, showing that their actions have impact. And that really is the goal at the end of the day, is to convey the impact that the player has on the world. A good way to find what will improve your game feel is to first write down your core game loop. I like to write out a typical play session on a bit of paper, something really quick and simple. If I'm doing this for, say, Rogue Legacy, I'll write down enter level, jump to platform, attack enemy, jump to platform, collect coins, destroy pot, collect more coins, jump to platform, enter next level. You can start to see the pattern here if you didn't already spot it. Find what your players will be spending 90% of their time actually doing, in this case platforming. Therefore, I'd focus improving my game feel around that area. Controls should be responsive and crisp, a satisfying sound effect when your character jumps and lands, maybe dust particles spawning when the character runs, and a satisfying smash when I decide to strike a pot with my sword. You also want to consider what emotions you actually want to evoke from your player when they decide to play your game. Do you want to empower your players or scare them? Is the purpose of your game to provide an outlet for the stress of a 9 to 5 day job? If so, giving the player actions such as destroying the environment, but also visual sound effects to show the result of their outed rage, glass shards lying around the floor, blood splatters down the wall from their enemies. If your game is designed to bring comedic value, then your sound effects and visuals will differ considerably to a game designed to bring intensity. It goes without saying, but it's important to note these things down when you decide to improve your game feel, as sometimes we as developers seriously struggle with tunnel vision, adding things to our games that we deem cool and interesting at a given moment while actually losing sight of the vision and purpose of the game. That's just some simple strategies that I use to improve game feel of projects that I'm working on and make the player feel a bit more integrated in the world that I'm trying to wrap around them. If you could, check out WinterBringers on Steam. It's my current project, and you can go there and tell me if I've achieved great game feel. So thanks for watching. Cheers.